You in the wrong seat. Sweetheart hat's a first-class seat, and you're not exactly what we call first-class material. That was the first thing I heard when I stepped on board. No hello. No welcome. Just that. Cold, sharp, and loud enough to slice the air in half. Captain Roger Holt didn't shout, but his words carried the kind of weight that makes the whole front cabin go dead quiet. People looked up from their champagne glasses, and suddenly, I wasn't a person, I was a disruption. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, holding my laptop bag, dressed in a simple cream blouse and navy slacks. I didn't look flashy, didn't try to, but apparently, just standing in seat 2, a black woman with poise, was offensive enough. Then Claire, the lead flight attendant, chimed in over the intercom like we were in some kind of courtroom drama. Passenger into A. Please prepare to relocate to economy until your ticket can be verified. The public humiliation was so thick, I could have drowned in it. I handed her my boarding pass. She barely glanced at it. This looks altered, she said, waving to another attendant. Check economy she probably just wandered in. I didn't flinch, didn't argue. I just took out my ID and held it up. Not just any ID. Apex Air Platinum, with my name engraved. She rolled her eyes. Nice print job. Victor Lang, a tall man in a $1,000 suit, scoffed behind me. She doesn't look like she belongs in first class, he said like he was ordering coffee. Yeah, that happened. That moment when they thought they could size me up and tear me down? It wasn't new. At 22, I'd flown business class after saving for 6 months, only to be asked if I was lost. That humiliation never left me. It fueled me. It built the company. It built Apex Air. And now, they were trying to kick me out of my own jet. Across the aisle, a woman named Emma started filming. Her friend Liam joined. And right then, a shift began. The hush turned into stares, stares into whispers. Another flight attendant, Maya Young, nervous but brave, stepped forward and said she'd seen my ticket herself. Claire snapped. You checked wrong. I raised my ID again and turned it over. Nia Thompson, CEO, Apex Air Global Holdings. Claire tossed it onto the seat like trash. Anyone can fake that. Liam picked it up. Read it. Out loud. Passengers leaned in. One whispered, Did she say CO? Emma pointed her phone at Claire. You messed up. And that's when it turned. Maya stood her ground. Emma refused to stop filming. I called my assistant, Leia. Start internal documentation, I said quietly. Captain Holt barked into the cabin mic. We don't fly charity missions. This is a commercial airline. You're about to lose your job with that mouth, I replied. Calm. Collected. Dead serious. Victor smirked. This is why you people think everything's about race. Maya cut in without hesitation. And here you are, proving her point. Claire tried to lie through the intercom. We're resolving a ticketing issue with a passenger who may not belong in this section. Maya ripped the mic away. Stop lying. I looked around. The cabin was no longer watching, they were choosing sides. Mark, another officer, tried brushing me off. You're not a priority. We've got real passengers waiting. Real. That word hung in the air like poison. Then Ethan, the youngest crew member, grabbed my bag without asking and tossed it into the storage bin. We have standards to maintain, he muttered. That's the last thing you'll ever do in that uniform, I told him, steady as stone. Emma posted the video. The internet started buzzing. But in that cabin, something more important was happening. People were standing. For me. For what was right. Maya came forward and dropped the twist. Claire did this before. 2 months ago, she downgraded another black passenger and told me to keep quiet. A man in 1D muttered. She said, CO? I stepped forward. Your days of hiding behind the intercom are over. Emma stood up. She doesn't need to threaten anyone. She just needs to exist for y'all to panic. Roger tried calling security. Disruptive passenger into A. That's when Jamal, the security officer, arrived. He didn't move. Just looked at me, then at Claire. I held up my ID again. I'm Nia Thompson. I own Apex Air. 100%. Claire's face paled. Roger sputtered. Jamal stayed still. Then, finally, he spoke. I will not remove her. And just like that, the game flipped. I gave them 8 minutes to fix it. They didn't. So I fixed it myself. I fired them. Right there in the cabin. Claire, Roger, Mark, Ethan, one by one. Gasps. Phones. Applause, not wild cheering. Just that kind of applause that feels like truth coming up for air. Roger yelled it was a stunt. You don't belong here, he spat. I looked at him and said, neither do you. Claire whispered, we were told to bury bias complaints. Ethan finally admitted, we were coached to suppress anything that looked like a race issue. I raised my voice. How many people suffered because you wanted the reports to look clean? Then I ordered the launch of the Apex Equity Program training, audits, anonymous reporting, everything I wished had existed 20 years ago. I promoted Maya on the spot. She cried. I didn't because I couldn't afford to. Before stepping off that plane, a little girl looked up and asked, are you going to make sure all the planes are safe now? I smiled. Yes, sweetheart. That's the plan. 6 months later, the gate was different. So were the uniforms. So was the culture. Passengers like that nervous black teenager in 2, they got a smile and a you good, sweetheart from the flight crew, not suspicion. The systems changed. Not for PR, not for hashtags, but because silence wasn't good enough anymore. A letter came from someone who once buried those complaints. You didn't know me, it said, but thank you for not walking off that plane quietly. That's how you measure impact, not an applause. An absentee fear of humiliation, of silence. So now, it's your turn. What would you do if you were standing in my seat? Would you speak up or stay quiet? Because bias doesn't need permission to exist, it just needs your silence. And I'm done being silent.